Welcome back to the Alabama CPA podcast. I'm your host, Rob Pearson, and I am pleased to be joined by Professor Cam Pearce from Samford University. Go Bulldogs, Cam. Glad to have you on with us.
Thanks. Go Bulldogs.
Being a 1995 grad of said university, very proud of the accounting program there at Samford, and pleased that you have joined the State Society's board and sort of getting involved in things going on here. And certainly, Cam, there is a lot going on, and you have had a lot going on. I think you had a busy week last week, didn't you?
That's true. At Samford and in accounting, there's a lot going on. And then last Friday, I defended my dissertation at the University of Florida. And so I guess I'm a doctor. I have to walk across the stage, but that was a really fun week and a day I'll never forget. And it went great. And like you said earlier, this accomplishment is really at the backbone of 20 other people who helped me get there. My husband, my kids, my mentors, my chair, my friends. So it was a really fun week.
That is incredibly exciting, and congratulations on that. So can we start calling you Dr. Pearce now? Is that how that's going to work?
Sure. I think
sure,
all the
absolutely.
requirements. That would be great. Dr. Cam, my friends are all joking with me, but yeah, it's a fun accomplishment for sure.
It certainly is. So what was your dissertation on?
I looked at how to teach accounting better. I think I run into the classroom informally. Before I knew all these fancy statistics, I would just ask students, why aren't you majoring in accounting? And they would say, it's hard, or I don't understand. And so I really sought to use current learning psychology to make it easier. And I learned a lot. There won't be any new textbooks issued based off my dissertation, but I'll continue that fight and that journey. I'm interested in tax too and how students ingest that. So, yeah, I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of being student forward and kind of thinking outside the box and sharing my love of accounting with others. So, yeah.
Well, I'm interested to hear more about that, and later on we'll get into how the Pathways to CPA bill will affect what happens at Samford University and other universities around the state. Because I know you're in communication with several departments around the state on how this change is going to affect students, both in undergraduate and graduate. But I would like to dig more into that if you don't mind. So, you talk about how to teach accounting students better. I know one topic that came up in our state society board meeting that you missed last week, bless your heart, but because you were doing something a lot more important in doing your dissertation. But one of the topics that came up was sort of the soft skill aspect of accountants, meaning that, with AI potentially in 15 years, how much really a lot of tedious work is going to be taking place. And we all kind of acknowledge that that's a part of our daily routine that may very well go away, and we're fine with that. But it means the interpersonal relationships. It means the thought processes on reading a financial statement and interpreting that for your clients or the other businesses that you're with. You see that evolving in undergraduate work?
I think you nailed a fundamental that will always be something people underestimate: soft skills, leadership, communication. I'm excited too to see how the profession will continue to evolve, but we hear that over and over from people in our community, from people who are hiring, from people who love our students. They have to have those skills. And I thought it was interesting at a recent meeting we had down in Montgomery. We were getting to hear some firms talk, and they even encouraged accounting students to not do more than one accounting internship. They said, go work at Publix, go work at a pool, go learn how to work in different environments with different people, and that will serve you even better than trying to kind of hold tight to the accounting basics that they'll learn and they'll get to. So no, I think that's going to be even more important with AI tools available. And it's going to come down to how human you are and how good you are at relating to others. And that's really exciting. I think that's a good thing. So, yeah.
I do too. I think it just proposes more opportunity for accountants, not less, in the way we interact with businesses and really help them succeed. And so we have in our state, as a matter of fact, Boyd Busby talks about this all the time. Our state collectively ranks in the top 10 in preparing students for the CPA exam. Certainly Samford is a part of that, but there's a lot of state universities that all contribute to that statistic. And that is absolutely something we should be crowing about if we're not already. So I'm just curious to your perspective of that is what are we doing right in higher education in Alabama? Obviously, the results speak for themselves, but it's not by accident. It can't be.
No, I think it's a team sport. It's amazing to watch these students come into school. And I have to give them a lot of credit, at least from Samford's perspective. Their parents are supportive of them. They've had a chance to have internships and a little work experience, but also they have this space and time to dedicate to their studies. I mean, it's probably 10 things rolling up in one, but I love when Boyd Busby says that. I'm like, Alabama, top 10 and something. Let's
Right.
shout it from the rooftops. Um, I don't know. I think we do have something special here. I think all our teachers across the state are excellent, and the ASCPA is strong. And Boyd Busby is also a huge part, his enthusiasm and professionalism for helping us.
Indeed.
Everything's working together. It's really exciting.
Well, a lot of universities are attracting students from all over the country, not just the state of Alabama and Samford in particular. I think I was told that the states with the highest population of students at Samford are Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Texas, and Michigan was the fifth one.
Michigan.
Strangely,
I knew Tennessee was the first one. I go
sure.
around the class the first day, and it is just
Franklin,
infiltration.
Murfreesboro, Franklin, Nashville, Franklin. Yeah, that's right. It was like that when I was there. Okay, I'm just
Was
saying,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Look, we just passed HB 59. The governor's yet to sign it, but we feel confident that's going to happen this week. But you've been aware of this. You and all the other accounting educators in the state have been aware of this change, and it's not that we're taking away anything as far as pathways, because the master's degree still holds a great significance to accounting, both the employers and students. But those that cannot go for that master's now have the ability to just stop with the bachelor's degree and get 2 years of experience, and of course pass the exam to be licensed. How has that changed your curriculum design at Samford and potentially other universities around the state?
Yeah. This may be an anticlimactic answer, but it really has not fundamentally changed our accounting curriculum. It does require the 24 hours in the undergrad degree. But most of our students, I would say, unless you were doing a study abroad or you transferred really late into our school, all of our students were doing at least that. And then, of course, if you go for a fifth year, you just get more and more of those accounting hours. So really no fundamental change has happened for our students. Now, we've had other changes. I would say the blueprints for the CPA changing was huge. And I would say our gen ed, Samford specifically, is doing a huge redo of our general education, kind of the platform freshman you experienced. AI is infiltrating, but this has been a pretty seamless step for our students. I don't think anyone is going to have to change a selection based off it.
Well, that's great to hear that it's not just a seismic shift. I wondered, timing for internships, if that sort of thing changed, what kind of opportunities those students might have to be able to get out even before their bachelor's degree is over. Does that affect it at all?
Yeah, we've talked about that too. Specifically, what Rob's saying is their internship is typically spring of senior year. So if they've completed all their classwork and the firms don't need them past March, are they done? And our understanding is that can be the case, which may help students. We have a couple classes at the end of those internship blocks where students can come back and take an elective or anything else they're missing. But it really does give students high flexibility, especially students who come into college with a ton of AP credit. They're already ahead. It could help them save money. Yeah, it can.
That is, I know I was in the 1995, our graduating class was the first class that had to have 150 hours.
You were the first.
We were. And
Wow. And how did y'all take that at the time? Were you
we were not thrilled.
Right.
But it's kind of one of those things that is what it is, right? And so you just knew that was the expectation. If you wanted to be a CPA, that had to be what it was going to be. A lot of my classmates went to public accounting, and I did not. I actually went private. I worked at Hannah Steele to start my career, and was blessed that. And of course, y'all have got some buildings named after the owner of Hannah. He's now deceased, unfortunately, but Pete Hannah was the owner of that company. He had a policy that he would pay for education of his employees, and so Samford had a night master's degree. It's taught at night, so I was able to work during the day and go to a master's program at night, and it took 2 years, and I'm actually 2 classes shy of it, but I got my 150 hours. And which is what I needed, and passed the CPA exam, and now here I am. So, but it was, and I tell the story too. I had no intention of ever practicing public accounting out of school, and Samford prepared me for both. Obviously, because one thing, my mother, who was a guidance counselor at my high school, she told me, she said, "Rob, you've got this far. Take the CPA exam, even if you don't need it, because you can. If you do need it, you can always hang a shingle. Growing up in any generation, you can always hang a shingle with CPA certificate and license, right? And so I didn't necessarily have to have it at Hannah Steele, but we progressed through that master's program because, again, my employer was very generous in helping me pay for that, and.
Wow.
And then I was able to sit for the CPA exam, and lo and behold, a couple of years later, an opportunity came up for me to move back home, which was Demopolis. And the opportunity was to work in public accounting, which I never thought I'd ever do. And I did for about 22 years before I started doing what I'm doing now. So no matter where you think your career path is going to be, that certificate really matters. And so I applaud y'all for being able to be flexible with these students and helping them, have additional pathways to be able to get that certificate, because it absolutely means everything for a career path for students like me, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, it's so important. I mean, my sister has flipped since to a public company where she's in finance, but those 3 letters behind her name definitely carry weight when she walks into a room, and everybody understands. Everyone knows how difficult it is and how it takes professionalism and brains and a lot of hard work to get that. So, we will always tell students, get your CPA. It's the best thing you can do. And like you said, you never know where your career will go.
You absolutely do not. So your career, what led you to be in education?
I never thought I would be here at all. I was working in town for a great company and a great boss, and I got offered the opportunity to adjunct Excel. And I thought, sure, I'd be happy to. And I did that for years without even thinking more about it. And one day, the dean then, Dean Chad Carson at the time, stopped me coming out of the restroom. And he said, I have a question for you. I don't want you to answer today. And I was like, okay. And he asked if I would come teach some tax classes more full time. Honestly, being at Samford, my faith is so important to me. I prayed about it, and we were about to start a family. And I thought, well, summers and kind of the breaks, maybe this makes sense. Maybe this is kind of where I'm supposed to be. And That was 7 years ago. So since then, I've gone all in. I went back and got my doctorate once I realized this is kind of where I wanted to be. And it's a really special place. I'm super grateful, but never came out of the gate aiming for it at all. And I'll kind of speak to the masters in this context. I never knew I would need a master's, but to teach undergrad, you have to, have more education than an undergraduate student. So a lot of time people will ask me about adjuncting or getting involved in teaching, and I say, do you have a master's of accounting or an MBA? So that's one thing to consider as students are trying to decide whether they stay that year or not. You don't know where your career will go. And teaching is one thing you have to have the master's for. So I'm glad I had it.
That is awesome to hear. And I know, and I'm going to say something I may not know what I'm talking about, but I know a little bit about it, enough to be dangerous. But there's faith-based learning initiatives at Samford, and very, very much embraced there. I have a daughter who teaches in the Department of Education, for example, there at Samford. And I know she's very involved in that. And, one thing I like about accounting is it's based on trust and telling the truth and being transparent in a lot of things. And I know that y'all do a good job of weaving faith into your curriculum there.
Absolutely. It is such a joy to get to do that. And I'll tell you an example I've published that where I do it in tax is really knowing the tax code and being able to navigate around it has helped me be a better Bible study. Things that I think the definitions are a little different here, things that seem like exceptions. In my own study of the word, I've been able to kind of go to the next level based on my Internal Revenue Code experience. So I love sharing that with my students in my master's class in tax research. They have an optional assignment. There's also a traditional assignment, so you're not required to do this, but you do get to look at scripture and apply some of the things we've learned and how to research and see if that also happens for you. So that integration is so amazing. I'm so grateful to be supported in that and to lead students in that direction too.
That is awesome, Cam. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for your time today, and in the work you do there at Samford, and educators all over the state do a great job, and you certainly do there at Samford as well. And I've got to know, because I've asked this a couple of times to other people who have been on this. What is your favorite phrase for the acronym CPA?
That is easy. My husband and I's monogram is Cameron and Andrew Pearce, and we are both CPAs. So we don't monogram a lot, but our marriage is my favorite representation of those two
Well,
words.
I stepped into that one. That was good. I like that. That worked out perfect, didn't it? It was meant to be, wasn't it?
Meant to be.
That's great. Dr. Cam Pearce, thank you very much for coming on this podcast with us, and best of luck to you. Of course, we'll see you again soon with the state societies, but I appreciate you sharing how different things are affecting, what you do and how you teach it there at Samford, and you telling you a little bit about your story. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me. You're so supportive of us, and I'm so proud of your Bulldogs. So thank you.
And go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs.
This
Okay.
has been the Alabama CPA podcast.